Hey, what's going on? This is Jason coming in with Sports Roundup. This is my first episode of this. A little later than getting started a little later than I thought I would. So I apologize for the lighting. It's not the best, but my backdrop is cool, and it's a beautiful day in California today. It was sunny. Now the sun is starting to set, but I had this gorgeous view of upstairs from my balcony from my office. So I will share that with you one day. I'm just not today. So getting right into it, we're here to talk sports, and I guess a big topic last week was the NFL draft. You know, you got Javanion Clowney going number one, beast, an animal. He went to the Texans, and see the thing with the Texans is they were playing coy the whole time. Will they take Manziel? Will they take Clowney? Will they take Khalil Mack? And so they really had held their cards to themselves and didn't really put out who they were gonna pick. So it made it pretty intriguing. Years before, like say when the Colts had the number one pick, everyone knew we're gonna take Andrew Luck. Everyone knew that they were gonna take Andrew Luck. And in this draft, there wasn't no per se top prospect quarterback. There was Boyles with I think number three to the Jags, and you have Manziel going 22. I think Manziel is going to be the most electrifying quarterback in this draft class. Boyles is going to be great. And then the Minnesota Vikings took out of Louisville. He's going to be really good too. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll come back to me in a second. So within saying that, Giovanni Clowney went number one. He's a beast. He's going to tear it up. Look at this. You have Robio Cannell, which is a defensive mastermind. You have J.J. Watt on the other side. And if I will say this, and I just pray that this happens, right? Brian Cushing can stay healthy through the whole season. He's a USC grad, one of my favorite schools. I love watching him play in college, and I'm glad he's doing well in the pros. He just can't stay healthy. So if he can stay healthy, they will have a great defense. And I think the biggest thing about them this year is they got rid of your boy Matt Schwab, the quarterback, right? Nothing against Matt Schwab. I like the guy, and he just had a terrible year last year, and I made fun of him all year. Soon we'll have my brother on the show, and he's a Raider now too. My brother's a Raider fan, so I clown him all the time. He all he's gonna do is throw a pick. This guy's just gonna throw an interception. Every 5 passes is gonna be a pick. And I hate to say that, but it's true. So he reminds me of Jake Delhomme when Jake Delhomme fell off the bandwagon when he was with the Panthers. He had a few good seasons, but he couldn't sustain it in long term, and he just started throwing interceptions, and the Panthers cut him. And then he went to the Browns. They picked him up, and he just was never the same. He also was throwing picks, interceptions for touchdowns, left and right. So that's something that happens. It's hard to sustain a high level of quarterback seed, and the people who do it, the Joe Montanas, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, consistently year after year, there are just Drew Brees. Consistently year after year, they're just great. It's a psychological thing I think that they put out there. So pick number 2, Gray Robinson went to the Rams. He's a tackle. He kind of solidifies the Rams' offensive line because they signed Jake Long last year, and then they also re-signed Saffold, which he was the left tackle, moved him to right tackle, and he was actually going to be signed by the Raiders, but there was a problem with his physical, so he went back to the Rams. So I think they might move him inside the guard, or they could put Robinson at guard. Robinson's pretty athletic. He's a good run blocker. So that's great. And then you have Blake Boyles going to Jacksonville. So he goes to USC, University of Florida, up the coast to Jacksonville. And Jacksonville I think this is great. I think this is a great pick for Jacksonville. But before again, I'm a Rams fan, and so I got to talk about Robinson a little bit more. He is a mauler. He will destroy you, and it kind of reminds me of Orlando Pace. If he can get his pass blocking down, which I know he would, he's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited about this pick. I'm excited to be a Rams fan because we had a great draft. We actually picked up another running back too out of Alabama. So we got the run blocker and the best running back out of Auburn. Auburn. So I'm excited about that. So going off into Blake Boyles is now a Jacksonville Jaguar, and that's a great pick for Jacksonville. I really hope that he can energize that fan base, and they understand what a good player that they do have at quarterback now. And I'm getting some water. I'm just talking so much. I'm just so excited about sports, man. I love football too. And we'll get into a couple more things too after this. We'll talk a little basketball. And I said in the intro that we weren't going to talk soccer, but World Cup is coming up, so I have to talk. I have to talk soccer. Football Americano and soccer, or soccer, football, however you call it. Anyways, for me, football is football and soccer is soccer. Sorry, don't mean to offend anybody. Anyways, I love water. Water is life. So, Boyles is a good quarterback. He's athletic. He has a beautiful girlfriend. He's from Florida. He's now playing football in Florida. Jacksonville needed a quarterback. They drafted Blaine Gabbert, was it 3 or 4 years ago? And I knew that he was out of Missouri, and I knew that was going to be a recipe for disaster. That they should have took who is it? He's now with the Patriots. Their backup. They should have took him, Ryan Mallett. Ryan Mallett is going to be a better quarterback than Gabbert. Gabbert's horrible, and I would not be surprised if Ryan Mallett is not traded to the Texans pretty soon. That's just something that I'm thinking, because the Texans don't really have a quarterback. They have TJ. I want to be Bill Gates, and they have, I want to say JP or Smelling Salts, but it's not him. They have another renegade backup quarterback that I don't know his name. He's been around for a while and he's not that good. So, I would not be surprised to see Ryan Mallett being traded over to the Patriots any soon, because of the connection there with O'Brien, Belichick, their little Patriot connection there. And Romeo Crennel also, even though he's a defensive coordinator, he has a Patriots connection also too. So, look for that. That might happen. And then you have Sammy Watkins, the Bills trading up to the number 4 pick, from the number 7 pick to the number 4 pick, to draft Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins is electrifying. He reminds me of Julio Jones, per se. That he might have that kind of impact. But to see that the balance with Julio Jones, if Julio Jones had another good receiver on the opposite side of him, and Sammy Watkins necessarily doesn't have that, because the Browns traded their best quarterback to the 49ers during, I think, the day after the draft. So why would you do that? I don't understand that. Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson's a great quarterback. I don't understand why, or receiver, why they will trade him. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Rams fan and I don't like the 49ers. I respect the 49ers, but I'm saying that because you have all this talent. You have a young quarterback. You have 2 threats on the outside. Well, it has to be 3, because they picked up a receiver out of USC last year that did really good too. His name not coming to me, but it will in a second. He did well also too. So, you're going to have all these weapons, and then you got Fred Jackson in the backfield, right? Action Jackson. Oh man, just what could have been. What could have been. Look at the Bills. They traded away Marshawn Lynch to the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks a couple years later going to win the Super Bowl. That is actually the first move that Pete Carroll did. He solidified his run game with Marshawn Lynch, and they beast mode and all this made up and made him Skittles. That guy is a beast. That guy is just incredible. Anyways, but Sammy Watkins is going to be a good receiver. I think Marquise Lee is the receiver from USC. But yeah, he's going to be a good receiver. I just wish they would have kept Stevie Johnson there with him, with Jackson in the backfield. I think that would have been a potent offense, because E.J. Manuel is going to be a good quarterback. I like what I've seen of him last year. He had flashes of greatness, and he's mobile. He can run the ball. He just got hurt his knee midway through the season, and they had his backup to play for. His backup did okay. So we'll see. After that, I think the steal was the Raiders picking up Khalil Mack at number 5. Khalil Mack is a baller. He is going to be a great Raider. And I just looked at the arms, and no homo. Looked at the arms of this guy. This guy had just guns. I was like, damn, this guy got some guns. He's ready to play. You know, that's some good stuff right there. So you got Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is ready to come in and dominate. He's ready to come in and do it and dominate and make it happen on that Raider defensive line. I was actually hoping the Rams would have took him at number 2, but I'm happy with their picks. They solidify their offensive line and their defensive line with their 13th pick in the draft. Drafting Donaldson, I think his name is out of Pitt. Big mauler also too. So that's basically the top 5. I think the biggest stories of the draft is let me see, Eric Ebron. I think he's number 13 pick out of North Carolina. He's a tight end. He was drafted by the Detroit Lions, and he is now engaged. He not got engaged. He asked his girlfriend to marry him on the top of the Empire State Building a couple days before the draft. So congratulations to Eric LeBron taking that step that I can't take. But he took that step, and I'm happy for him. Drafted 13, and he gets paired up with Pettigrew and Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush in the backfield. So now if they can just solidify their defensive backfield, which I think they did in the draft, I think they should have it. Lions should be a threat next year. Lions should have been a threat this year. I think they really should have challenged the Packers for that division. But they had coaching issues and discipline issues, and you can kind of tell. So hopefully coming in this year with their new coach, they can get that taken care of and get some better direction to see a better result. Athletes are amazing, and what they do is awesome. And coaches, if the strategy that they implement with the talent is awesome. It's incredible. So, but I think the biggest story besides Johnny Manziel is Michael Sam being drafted by the Rams with I think it's a 248th pick. He's almost one of the last picks of the draft. And what gets me is he was co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year. That's a great honor. That's a big honor. And to tell me that 249 players are better than him, the SEC is the biggest conference in football. And to be co-defensive player of the year of that conference is a big deal. And he's going to the Rams, and the Rams have a great defensive line. They can use him as a situational pass rusher. He can give Robert Quinn or Chris Long a break, here and there. But I think the biggest issue with him is he's the first openly gay player to be drafted, and the first openly gay NFL player to come in and just announce that he was gay. And there's a lot of talk about how he did it. Was it for publicity? All this just talk about it. ESPN, put him on, and I was just like, the first time I ever seen something like that on the draft. And Chris Eisen said it best, right? He said, "That is the first time I think we have ever seen anything like this on the NFL draft." I just about died. I just about died laughing because, he was totally honest with it about it, because that is the first time that we've seen something like that about the NFL draft, right? So he was totally honest, but just the way he conveyed the message was just, I thought it was hilarious, right? Because it's true. It is the first time that something like that has happened. First time it's been shown on a draft, and maybe the first time, it may be the last time, who knows? I think this is a big experiment to see how this works. And Oprah actually wanted to do a documentary and follow him through camp and put on the old network. Oprah, I think it's Oprah, or her Win channel or old channel. She has just mega bucks. Oprah's just filthy rich. Anyways, so she wants to do a documentary, and they were, I guess, had planned to launch this. Now they're in discussions with the Rams about it, because it might actually be a big distraction, and I'm not sure if they want that distraction coming in. But see, this is my take on it, right? I'm all about civil rights and equal rights for all people. To what a man does is what a man does. I'm not either for nor against it. Just you choose how you live, you live how you live. It's not. I'm not here to put or pass judgment on anyone. That's not my job here on this planet. However, if it's for show and it's for publicity or anything like that, that's what might be the issue. But if you're coming in to play football, show what you got and all that, and you'll be great, So anything else, like, who knows? but it's all about football, playing football, and you being the best football player on the field, or you being the best football player you can be, and then putting you in and the coaching staff putting you in a position where you can succeed with your strength. So that remains to be seen. If it is a publicity thing or if it is a legit, I'm going to be a football player type issue. There's so much going on behind the scenes with a lot of people. I mean, one person you look at is Jamarcus Russell, who was drafted by the Raiders, the number 1 pick. He had all the physical skills. He had a strong arm, kind of mobile. He was just kind of chunky, and he got chunkier. They did the chunky soup commercial with him, and he was just the chunky, not the soup. Anyways, he's a perfect example of that. He had all the potential in the world, but he let being the number 1 pick kind of go to his head, and he lost track of actually playing football and just resting because he had all the money to begin with. So, I hate to see that. I hate to see any stories like that. I hate to see wasted talent. I hate to see wasted talent. If you have the potential, we all have the potential to be great at whatever it is we decide to do, but it's the wasted potential what gets to me. And a lot of these kids, they waste their potential because they come in and they're given all this money, and okay, well, I'm rich, so I ain't gonna do shit. No, I'm rich, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So, it remains to be seen. I think if he continues, because I think he came out with his teammates before him, but if he continues just to play football and make it about football and not about him being homosexual and about being football, great. That's awesome, man. I really respect him and respect him for that, because in a way it is civil rights. It's a civil rights issue, and if you want to rewind this back to the 60s with Dr. King, Malcolm X, and all the great leaders, Medgar Evers, all the great leaders who pushed for equal rights, this is a spinoff of equal rights. So, who am I to say, or anybody else to say that he's wrong or they're wrong or anything like that? It's not for us to decide anything like that. That's another decision by another person, and really not for anybody on this panel. Now, we can plan it. We can talk and tell stories about it and tell truth about it. That's what it's about. And for him, if it's about playing football, then make it about football. Don't make it about this documentary or anything else. Make it about football. I mean, realistically, he probably should have been a 4th-round pick, not a 7th-round pick, but he's a 7th-round pick. And when you're a 7th-round pick, you're a 7th-round pick. So, just the way it is, right? If I was in the NFL and I was a 7th-round pick, well, hey, I'm a 7th-round pick. Another big story about the draft, of course, is my boy Johnny Manziel going to the Cleveland Browns. So excited for Johnny. He's and the Browns, they need this, right? They need Cleveland. Cleveland needs this, right? Have you been to Cleveland? I haven't, but I heard stories about. What do you think LeBron James left Cleveland of all places, right? And I was really kind of upset with LeBron James when he left Cleveland, but he went and won 2 championships on the way to win a 3rd. So, but Manziel and LeBron are buddies, so LeBron can give him ins and outs of Cleveland and this and this. And Cleveland really needs a Joe Namath type player, which is I consider Manziel a Joe Namath type player. He is Johnny Football. He is the essence of football, of the quarterback position, and I think that he will be great. I think he's gonna be great. I totally back this guy. He has that. There's that ick factor, right? Everyone talks about Tim Tebow having that ick factor, but Tim Tebow could not throw the freaking ball. I mean, Tim Tebow couldn't throw the ball. I mean, he throw it left and it went right. That's just, I could throw the ball better than Tim Tebow could, right? So if Manziel is serious about it and he studies his craft and becomes a true professional with what he's doing, he will find success in the NFL. And I'm happy for Cleveland, because the NFL need Cleveland to be at least representable, at least beat the Steelers once or beat the Ravens once, or now it's the Bengals in that division. So Cleveland has been all over the place with their draft picks, and they traded away Richardson last year, and then they have their other quarterback they cut. I don't even know why they picked that guy up. I can't remember his name. I think he's picked the same pick as Richardson. As about you. I don't. Why did Mike Holmgren pick that guy? Man, I wanted to call him Trent Dilfer, but he's not Trent Dilfer. It's Trent Dilfer's actually won a Super Bowl, so I can't say too much about Trent Dilfer. So, but yeah, Johnny Manziel, and you see Cleveland, and this is the errors in Cleveland's way. Hey, oh yeah, Manziel has to do this, and he's not guaranteed any position, and that's true, that's great, right? But since you signed or since he was drafted, you've sold 12,000 season tickets. He is now the number 2 in rookie jersey sales behind Michael Sam, which is number 1, right? So he is number 2. But we're gonna put our hands up and say, we're not guaranteed anything for Johnny Manziel, but he is going to energize your franchise and make you relevant again. All right, blank, simple. He will make you relevant. Just back this guy up. Don't sidetrack him and tell him he can't do something. The guy's going to be amazing. So, that's kind of my quick draft roundup on some of the players that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of great players in the draft. I mean, from rounds 1 through 7, that's just kind of who I wanted to pinpoint and talk about today. Eric LeBron, congratulations, man. Appreciate you, brother. Good luck on your marriage and with the Browns too, man. Yeah, that's amazing. So let me check my notes. See what we wanted to talk about. We could talk basketball really quick, right? So we got the Spurs advancing. They really handed it to Portland, and I really expected Portland to be better, especially after the way Portland handled the Houston Rockets. So that just goes to tell me Houston Rockets were terrible because the Spurs just handled Portland. I think Portland won 1 game of that series. I don't know. But the Spurs just have that system down pat, and they've been playing together a little bit longer than Lillard. That guy is just awesome. And LaMarcus Aldridge too. So Portland, good experience for them. They'll be back next year. The West is it's a beast. It's like winter. Anybody in the top 8. Excuse me. Realistically, could win the West. Because Dallas won. They won 3 games against the Spurs. It took Spurs to 8 games. Then you have the Thunder really handling it to the Clippers the last couple of games. Some great games in that series. I really applaud the Clippers for doing what they did and getting as far as they have after the Donald Sterling thing, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But the Clippers, really play the Thunder. I mean, last Sunday they had this comeback victory, and I could not believe. I think it was the Thunder over 21 points in the first quarter, and Clippers came back and won that game in the fourth quarter. Darren Collison, and you had Chris Paul guarding Kevin Durant. I mean, Chris Paul is like I'm 5'10", right? Chris Paul is like a little bit taller than me, and Kevin Durant's damn near 7 feet. So, excuse me. So I don't see how Durant, didn't succeed against them if he wasn't, posting them up or passing the ball side to side. I'm not a basketball expert, but I know if you move the ball around, you'll eventually get the ball back and you'll make some baskets. And Thunder, a lot of the time, they get caught up with just playing Westbrook and Durant basketball and not team basketball, and it's to their demise sometimes. So that day it was to their demise. But Russell Westbrook, just kind of took it to another level in the last couple of games against the Clippers. So you have the Thunder and the Spurs, which should be a great series. And on the opposite, and you have what everyone's been waiting for, the Pacers and the Heat, right? This has been a talk all year. And the Pacers said, I got to have home court advantage to beat the Heat. Well, let's see if you can actually beat the Heat. You had trouble beating the Atlanta Hawks. Couldn't believe it. And I have I have this theory. On why the Pacers went soft over the last couple. I think it was the last couple of months, actually. I didn't know how they ended up with first place in the East. I think Miami just wanted to make a challenge for themselves. Okay, well, you think you can be with having first place, right? So we'll just give you first place, right? We'll give you first place. and we'll still beat you, right? So maybe that's the Heat's thinking. Maybe he's like, they remind me of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers when they would just give team leads and just come back and beat them. That's how good they were, and that's how good this team is. The Heat, man, I don't see anybody beating the Heat. I really don't. Don't see anybody beating the Heat in playoffs. But you look at, okay, this is my theory. This is my theory. My theory on the Pacers, right? So the Pacers signed Andrew Bynum, right? Andrew Bynum. Okay, let's quick history on Andrew Bynum, right? Andrew Bynum drafted by the Lakers, developed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, learned some great skills. Did not want to learn the skyhook, one of the best shots in the world. That's fine, though. Hey, he developed the low post game, working with Kareem, great footwork, always injury prone, right? So he had a couple knee surgeries, missed some time. Lakers had Pau Gasol also, so they would play them two together. Fast forward, the Lakers traded Andrew Bynum to the Sixers in a 3-team trade to pick up Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, great player. And I have my own opinion on Dwight Howard, so I'll put out at some point. And then, so 1 year with the Sixers, he did not play a lick of basketball. This is Andrew Bynum. Did not play a lick of basketball with the Sixers. Missed the whole season with knee issue. Sixers let him go. He was picked up and signed by the Cavaliers, which is Mike Brown. And Mike Brown is his former coach when he was with the Lakers. So, Mike Brown signs him, Cavs sign him. He plays half of the year with Cleveland. They cut him for he was basically they cut him because he's horrible. He's a horrible teammate, I guess. But it was conduct detrimental to the team. Yeah, that's what it was. So they cut him for that. The Pacers pick him up because they don't want anybody else in the East to pick him up, or the Heat to pick him up, right? But the Heat have Greg Oden, so why would they sign Andrew Bynum when they got their own injury-prone center in Greg Oden, right? So the Pacers pick him up, and you have him and Hibbert, right? Okay, that could be a good combination, two big men, Bynum coming off the bench to back up Hibbert. But it seemed like once they signed him, Hibbert just fell off the face of the planet. He turned soft. So my theory is Andrew Bynum infected that team. He came in and said, "Hey, Hibbert, man, I ain't played basketball in 2 years, man, and I'm still getting paid, brother. You ain't gotta exert yourself. You ain't gotta play no basketball. You can just be cool, man. Look at me. I got an afro. I'm Andrew Bynum. I'm making millions of dollars sitting on the bench. Be like me." So I think he was a bad influence, and they lost games, and they were soft. I mean, they had trouble beating the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks were under 500 team. They were the 8th seed, right? So once they cut Andrew Bynum against the series against the Wizards, they actually picked it up and started playing some better basketball. So my personal opinion is that Andrew Bynum affected that team and made Hibbert soft. And I don't think Hibbert actually finally, reluctantly came out and played ball, So I'm happy for Hibbert. Hopefully he's back. Now they have a challenge against the Heat, and the Heat, hey, LeBron James by himself with Chris Bosh. Dwayne Wade's always hurt, always injured right now. He's they're saying the twilight of his career. I don't necessarily think he is. And this is kind of an interesting season because this is the last year of their contract for the Big Three, so they all can separate right now if they want to. I don't see them separating if they went to the ring, per se. But who knows? Who knows what these guys are thinking. Who knows? They might add a fourth player to their. Who knows what's going to happen in free agency this year? They might say, "Carmelo, come on down." You're the next contestant on the Miami Heat is right? So interesting to see what's going to happen with them. But I do think that in 7 games, I think the Heat will beat the Pacers, and they will have. Looks like the Thunder waiting for them, and I'm saying that kind of reluctantly, because the Spurs are pretty good too. So we'll see. It's going to be. 2 interesting series, 2 interesting matchups. We'll see how they both go and who actually wins. I'm expecting to see another Thunder Heat finals, and I think the Heat are going to beat the Thunder again. So we'll see. And other news, Steve Kerr is now the coach of your Golden State Warriors after the Warriors let Mark Jackson go, which is kind of a head scratcher. Mark Jackson actually put him back on the map. But see, the story behind this is Steve Kerr actually could have went and spent time with Phil Jackson and coached the Knicks. But I think, Steve Kerr was weighing his options, right? The Knicks or the Warriors? The Warriors, you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Iguodala, and Harrison Barnes. Young, hungry talent. And don't make me forget Klay Thompson. Hungry talent, right? These boys can shoot, they can slash, they can dunk, they're athletic, they can play ball. So you go to look at New York. New York's a mess. And Carmelo may not even come back. So if that's the case, you're stuck with J.R. Smith with his, what is it? He has a bulletproof Hummer limo or something like that. He paid like $500,000 for it. So you have J.R. Smith, right? That's going to either shoot you in or out of games. And yeah, Iman Shumpert, some good guys, Stoudemire, and then they have Raymond Felton. It looks like he's, I stopped myself from saying what I was going to say. But you have Raymond Felton there also. So you have all these dudes there that, they're all underachievers. And I don't blame Carmelo if he wants to leave. If he wants to come to LA, hey, the Lakers welcome you, Carmelo. With open arms, we welcome you. Just play some defense. That's all I ask, right? We got rid of Antony, right? So we got rid of D'Antoni. I keep on leaving the D out. Why do I do that? Anyways, yeah. So Steve Kerr, I think he made a wise choice. I'm not sure what Phil Jackson is going to do now if he's going to hire Scottie Pippen. There's a lot of talk about Derek Fisher also being on the Lakers' radar and on the New York Knicks' radar too. So that should be interesting to see if Fisher at the end of this season actually becomes a coach. I'm going to start it off there. I just wanted to talk about those few topics. World Cup is coming up, and so we will talk more about that when it comes up. That's a really big topic and stuff. I'll learn some soccer just for you guys, not for myself, for you guys, for the audience. I'll learn some go. It should be very interesting, right? Hey, so you guys have a great day, and soon we'll have some special guests on the panel and some people we can learn to talk to and learn about more about sports. And I have a buddy in Detroit who is all a Detroit fan, and so he can talk Detroit sports. I'm all over the place. So I talk about anything and everything. It's just whatever's on my mind. I said, let's get on this, just talk it. So we'll do this once a week, probably on I guess it's Saturdays, and then I'll have a link to my blog, and I'll start a Facebook page, and you can join the Facebook page if you like. Follow me on Facebook. Hey. And then we can watch replays on the blog or on the Facebook fan page. Either way, it doesn't matter. So you guys have a great day. If you want to add any comments or any questions below, go ahead and add it. I'll get back to you guys. Email me. I think my email is foryoursuccess1@gmail.com, or just leave a comment on the page here, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. If it's Google Plus, just leave me a comment on Google Plus. And you guys have a great, blessed Saturday afternoon. Go Dodgers! I'm out.